Hello, my friends, family, esteemed colleagues. I was asked to address swollen lymph nodes, or how the science calls it, lymphadenitis or lymphadenitis. Well, what would be cause of swollen, enlarged, or painful lymph nodes? This occurs always as a part of infection. So probably the best way to talk about this is if we turn to science, see what science has to say about it, and just put a little bit spin on this, converting science into science. So let's give it a look. Okay, so here we have it. A scientific explanation. A swollen lymph nodes. Okay, so causes. Infections, either caused by Zumzula, bacteria, or fungi, because this is what scientifically are different species of germs that can cause swollen lymph nodes. Okay, so they now say what type of infection, like upper respiratory, mononucleosis, tuberculosis, whatever, cancer, autoimmune disorders, can cause this. Inflammatory conditions, medications, silicone breast implants. Okay, so what are we talking here about? Just look at this. Number one, we know that Zumzulas, here, these Zumzulas, they don't exist. Okay, so we know it's a toxic discharge. Now, bacteria and fungi, well, we know that they feed on toxic discharge. So if the body is more toxic, you are going to have more bacteria and more fungi growing there, depending on a type of toxic discharge, of type of food that you are providing. So if you have an upper respiratory infection, lungs, well, what is infection? We know that infection, how science explains it, is always related to inflamed organs. Because, again, infection, according to science, causes inflammation. Now, I explained many times that it is not the infection that causes inflammation. It is actually the dehydration that causes inflammation. Now, mononucleosis or Epstein-Barr virus, again, we know that Zumzula don't exist. So this Epstein-Barr Zumzula has absolutely, it's a stupid stuff. Just call it this way. Again, it is nothing to do with any pathogen. It is all about toxicity. It is very obvious here with the cancer. Where does cancer occur? In very toxic body, toxic cells. Okay, autoimmune disorders, I don't even want to touch this right now. But what are the symptoms? Pain. Why pain? Swollen nodes. Because when tissue increases its size, it is going to put more pressure on the sensory nerves and cause either discomfort or pain. Now, change of a size, of course, it's inflamed, so it is going to change the size. It now depends which lymph nodes are being affected. So we will discuss this a little later. Oh, cats and dogs. But we can say location. Well, we have a more prevalent lymph nodes, or much higher amount of lymph nodes in areas where we have a stronger contact with outer world. Lymph nodes are like a cleansing stations for lymphatic system. And lymphatic system is the capillary system that is preventing garbage to come into the body. So we will find them close to the skin and close to the mucosal tissue. Again, mucosal tissue is the inner skin. So it is your respiratory or it is your digestive system. Of course, then also the sexual organs have mucosal tissue there, and they have contact with foreign body. So again, we are going to have a higher accumulation of lymph nodes there. So it's going to be there, it's going to be under armpits. We sweat a lot. Sweating brings more toxicity. You are going to have in these areas more lymph nodes. Intestines, the mucosal tissue of intestines, then in the stomach cavity, you are going to have more lymph nodes, because this is where absorption of nutrients comes. And if any toxin comes with nutrients, well, it is going to be dealt with the first line of defense, which are your lymph nodes. Okay, so, and this is why you have them in the neck, armpits, groin, this supraclavicular bone, right, neck. Now, symptoms. Okay, so what symptoms do we have when we have enlarged lymph nodes? Fever. Well, what causes fever? Increased blood toxicity. Well, the blood is not polluting the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes comes before blood. So this is not causing, lymph nodes are not causing this problem. Increased size of lymph nodes is a consequence of toxic blood, and fever is a consequence of toxic blood. Fever is no reflection, is not related in any way, shape, and form to swollen lymph nodes. But they are both symptoms of toxic blood. Chills, symptom of toxic blood. Fatigue, symptoms of toxic blood. Sore throat, inflammation of throat. And again, what do we have in the throat? We have tonsils. Tonsils have a very similar purpose as a lymph node. Cough, irritation because of swelling. Skin rashes and lesion. Why skin rashes? Well, skin rashes happen when blood is toxic and when it's dehydrated or overly toxic. So kidneys and mucosal tissues are not cleansing it fast enough, so it starts getting through the skin. When toxins go through the skin, they cause problems, irritation, itchiness, swelling, discoloration, and another, joint pain or swelling. Well, swollen lymph do not cause this. okay? But toxic blood causes joint pain and swelling, same as it increases size of the lymph nodes, because there is toxicity in the blood. Now the toxicity that came to the blood, well, may be coming from a variety of places, and this is why, depending on the location of lymph node, we can search for the culprit. Where? What is toxic? What is creating this? Okay, so let's now discuss this a little bit. So, as you have seen, science blames symptoms to be cause of another symptom, which is nonsense. And what is science stuck onto? The germ theory, which has been debunked even when it started. The only reason why germ theory became the science is because it was untrue. And if you are treating something because you think that this is causing a problem, you are not really treating the real cause, and you're just running circles and further polluting the body, which happens with antibiotics. And of course, we create even more problems. This is why increased lymph nodes could also be a result of over-medication or using toxic medication that will affect lymphatic system. Now, I had a client with a breast cancer, was a left breast, problem with her son, and she was doing self-healers protocol. And 1 year she was looking, and it was called the aggressive type. Well, 1 year, nobody could believe her that she has a breast cancer because she did not radiate this. But then she started doubting because she didn't feel that she is healing. And actually, the breast start bleeding. Underneath the breast, wound opened up, and toxic blood was oozing out because body was destroying the cancer. Now this scared her. She thought it's getting worse. And no matter what I explained, so she has a friend, a wealthier lady. She had the friends, some of them doctors. And then she told them that, you know, what she's doing. And they said, are you crazy drinking salt? And this is stupid. I told her that she has to exercise to increase the speed of circulation. So this way cleansing goes faster. Well, of course, she was not doing any of this. Not even eating 100% correctly. And the main thing is the problem with her son continued. And I told her she has to separate herself from this. The best is to go with her husband on extended trip to have fun somewhere. But she had another 2 children. She felt she has to take care of them. So she was feeling sorry for herself in a house and dealing with the same problem. Cannot heal if you don't allow healing to occur. If you are continuing poisoning yourself. And emotion is as toxic as any chemical. So she, all of a sudden, she started having a pain in her left arm. And the left arm starts swelling. And of course, by suggestion of her friend doctor, You see what salt is doing to you? This, you have to stop with the salt. Then she confronted me. Oh, you see, doctor tells me that it's salt because this is no better. I could not convince her that it's not a salt. Okay? So I just told her, okay, so stop drinking plasma, drink regular water if you want, and you will see that the swelling is going to even increase more. If it would be swelling caused by water retention because of salt, let's say, why left arm? Why not feet, as usually happens? Why not ankle? Why not stomach? Why left arm? Why not right arm? Well, what happened is, and also, she had, as precaution, before she saw me, she had already scientists working on her, and they took her lymph nodes from her left arm away. So what happened? You have a toxins oozing out from the cancer that body is taking out, and these toxins have to be eliminated. This is why wound opened up, through which toxic blood is coming out, but toxins also seep through the drainage, through lymph, into the tissue. And the tissue is becoming more and more toxic. When you don't exercise, when you don't speed up your blood circulation, well, your lymphatic system becomes stagnant. And what happened is toxicity start accumulate, left breast, left arm. And as the tissue became more toxic, the lymph that goes there becomes stuck because it's not allowed to get out in the same speed because of its toxicity. It would over pollute the blood. This is the mechanism of the body. This is another sign that body is not intelligent, doesn't understand. It's basically running according to programs. And what happened? Because of this, as the toxicity was increasing of her left arm, more and more lymph got stuck there, causing water retention. Her arm increased in size, creating pressure on sensory nerve, causing pain. And it's a kind of dull pain. During the day, it's not so problematic when you are moving, but when you lay down, when you want to sleep, then it throbs and gets worse and worse. You cannot sleep. So it's very unpleasant. Well, needless to say, the lady then starts searching a help with her church. And of course, she was preached on to God does this, God does that, and you will go to heaven and you will do this. And well, as soon as she stopped hydrating with plasma and start listening to the other science, within 6 months she was dead, or 4 months. It just rapidly deteriorated. The healing stopped, and toxicity, toxic mind and toxic body lead to death. So now, why do lymph nodes inflame? Lymph nodes are cleansing stations. So whatever comes into the skin, what skin absorbs, it goes into lymphatic system. It goes through lymph nodes first. Whatever you absorb from mucosal tissue, from mouth and the digestive tract or respiratory tract, and also through your sexual organs. That's also mucous tissue. What you absorb goes into lymphatic system and it's being checked through lymph nodes. If some toxic element occur, then you have lymphocytes, white blood cells, take care of it. They try to dismantle it, break it down. If they cannot break it down, well, they try to gobble it up. And then they stimulate production of macrophage, bigger lymph cells, to gobble this thing up, to dispose of it. Contrary to soyans, white blood cells and lymphocytes are not your immune system. It's not creating any immunity. It's your garbage disposal system. And it's dealing with the garbage. The garbage is a toxin. This is why very often you have swollen lymph nodes, but when blood is taken out, there is no problem with bacteria or with fungus. So why is the lymph node swollen? I must be Zumzula. Zumzula, that's it. We got it. Zumzula is now doing this. Yeah. Something that nobody ever found, nobody can test for, even though they claim they have a test for Zumzula. Nobody ever seen, but they have pictures, all kinds of pictures, depending on type of Zumzula. Well, soyans is it best. What you don't understand, you make up. And what's missing, you create. As long as you can make a package that looks believable, you're ahead of a game. And this is what our medicine, soyans, tells us. And this is what they do. They construct what doesn't exist to prove what doesn't exist exists. Soyans. So, whenever you have inflamed, painful lymph nodes, you have to check from which area these lymph nodes receive lymph. So if it's in the throat, okay, it's something most likely you are eating. If it's inguinal area, maybe you are having contact with some toxin there. Okay, maybe check your partner. If there is in abdominal area, something else also you are eating. If it's in the lungs, something you are breathing in, you should not be breathing in. Some toxin is coming in there. And then if, let's say, fungus is located, it's not the fungus that is causing it. It is the toxin, and fungus comes to help you with dealing with this toxin. If you focus on fighting the fungus, you are going to be increasing the level of toxins and worsening the situation. This is what tuberculosis is all about. We focus on the wrong thing and tuberculosis explodes. Consumption. No? Why people are dying or were dying from this? Because they were treated the wrong way. And a backbone of everything is dehydration. Because if you are well hydrated, your body can eliminate. The more you suffer from dehydration, the less your body can eliminate, and it stores toxins, becomes more toxic and causes these problems. And then on top of this, the lack of GC-MAF to label some toxic stuff. So your body understands it is toxic, so it produces, sensors sense toxicity. So production of white blood cells increases, but then toxin is not marked. So when white blood cell comes and searches for toxin, it cannot find it because it's not labeled. It's not labeled because body doesn't produce GC-MAF. And why does not human body produce GC-MAF when every other animal produces it? Because we have skewed the metabolism. We have twisted the body from ketogenic state into glucoholic state, from animal to plant. And if you want to use glucose for energy, you have to hydrolyze it, so you need glycosid hydrolase, which animal bodies, human body does not produce because it does not need it. But in this case, it needs it. So you're skewing the whole process by eating the wrong food. And whenever you feel unwell, what is suggestion of your smart doctor? Eat veggies, a lot of veggies, cooked veggies, forget about meat, veggies, veggies, veggies. The reason why human body does not produce GC-MAF protein marker is because it has to produce glycosid hydrolase, and it's the same NAGA gene that does it. Depending on vibration, it will trigger cell producing one or the other, not both at the same time. It cannot do it. It's different vibration. So either it's one or it's the other. Remember, everything goes down to frequency, vibration. Plant vibrates differently. You start feeding yourself with plant food, you start twisting your vibration to the plant vibration. You start producing certain frequencies that only plant produces. You can sit on 2 chairs and be comfortable. So it's time to think, not just to regurgitate the nonsense we are being fed. Just use the Google. Same. If you have swollen nodes, toxicity is coming into your body, or could be in your body spreading. And lymphatic system is trying to minimize it. So lymph nodes are going to be accumulating. So toxic lymph comes in, and in the lymph node is like a cyst trying to hold in these toxins to cleanse them from the lymphatic flow. More toxin gets trapped. It irritates. Now also, lymph node has to make more lymphatic cells. It needs being provided by more blood to do so. More nutrients, more oxygen. If blood is toxic, it is creating the same thing like with every other body, brings more toxicity, stifles the organ, causes cellular dehydration. the lymph node is also made out of cells. They dehydrate, they become toxic, they don't function well, and they need to, since they have to continue working, they will be forcefully hydrated, and here comes the inflammation process that further increases the size of the lymph node. The larger it gets, the more pressure it exerts on a sensory nerve, causing more pain or discomfort. So, how do we deal with this? Always the same. Remember, diseases do not exist. We just give name to set of symptoms. But diseases don't exist. It's a toxicity that the body is trying to deal with the way it is programmed, but cannot do it because everything we do, everything we are told by science, by our professors, by our Nobel Prize winners, what to do, is not only wrong, in most cases is contrary to what should be done. And we know reason why. We know that the science in general was taken over by Cabal, and they want us stupid. So they twist the science into science and sell it to us, force feed us this nonsense, and then give us titles and permits to use this science. And no matter how much destruction we do, we are not liable because we are scientists. We do things scientifically. Doesn't matter how many people you kill, but it's a science. Wake up. New slogan now from Robert Kennedy. No. Get America healthy again. Yeah, we can. Not America. We can and we will make the world healthy. But first we have to destroy the whole medical science. Science of the medicine. And this is exactly what we are doing. Thank you for listening. I hope that certain things at least penetrate. Don't discard them. Allow information to come in. More information you allow, the more the Google has to process. And eventually it will come to the truth. God bless you. Love you all. Namaste.